May I again begin by simply saying what a joy it is to be with you. Just nice to be with you, calmly, peacefully, knowing that there is a presence within us that far surpasses anything else going on around us. What a joy, just what a joy to be with you here this morning. Just a couple of announcements before we begin. First of all, I'm very happy to say that the response to our course in Mastering Alchemy by Jim Self has been rather overwhelming. So we're going to begin another course. It'll be on Tuesday evening, May the 5th, from 7 to 8:30, to go along with the Wednesday evening course, May the 6th, from 7 to 8:30. You may sign up for either one of those two nights. Information will be forthcoming at the beginning of the week. Also, I'd like to thank all of you who have been very supportive to Now Creations via PayPal or mailing in directly to Now Creations. We appreciate your support. All of us are doing this together. Let me now begin our teaching again by just saying what a joy it is. A joy to share with you these Sunday service teachings. I especially want to again focus on the notion that I feel that what is going on within one of us is going on within all of us. We are clearly experiencing a new facet of our growth, namely, one that is individually expressing through each one of us, but that individual expression is part of a much more universal participation in that total, full spiritual energy. It's thrilling. It's thrilling to know that what you are doing, I am doing. What I am doing, we are doing. It's thrilling, and it's quite an experience to know it and to feel it. Speaking of quite an experience, this week's teaching is entitled A Once-in-a-Lifetime Opportunity. It could just as clearly be presented as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Let's begin. First with a common experience, then with a major teaching. For many of us, it feels good at times to simply clean house, to be able to do that spring cleaning, to get rid of all of the stuff that is taking up just too much space, things that we haven't used for quite some time, things that need to go into the garage sale or put into a rummage sale. It's just, in a sense, time to get rid of what is no longer serving you. Yes, I'll say it again. It's just time to get rid of things that no longer serve you. And just as it is important to get rid of things that no longer serve you, it's also very important to get rid of habits and beliefs that you just don't need anymore. To get rid of those habits and beliefs that no longer serve you. Now to the major point of today's teachings. For many of us, we have felt that more than once we have experienced once-in-a-lifetime events. For example, perhaps maybe some of you felt this way after the close of World War II, where America was involved in such a devastating time, not only with other countries, but certainly within our own country. Or perhaps maybe you felt it when John F. Kennedy was shot. Many people still remember what they were doing on that particular day. Or perhaps maybe you felt it during the racial unrest in the 1960s. Such a difficult time for America. Or surely you must have felt it when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon in 1969, followed by the Woodstock Festival a few months later. Or surely you must have felt this once-in-a-lifetime experience in the technological revolution that is still going on today. And last but not least, you certainly must have felt it on 9/11. Yes, there were many unforgettable experiences, but none of them has had the impact as did and has the coronavirus. I would like to explain why the coronavirus has had such an impact upon us. To all of these very memorable past events, from Woodstock to 9/11, America was able to respond to these events with something to do. There was something to do to rebuild after World War II. There was something to do to have effective legislation after the racial unrest of the 1960s. And of course, there was something to do after 9/11 to rebuild on the site of the Twin Towers, and especially, of course, to repair relationships with countries to avert such events in the future. America and the world are good when they have something to do, something to respond to, something to fix. And these things often have a timeline, a very long timeline. But as long as there is a light at the end of the tunnel, a goal that can be worked on and achieved, we feel pretty good. We know that we can accomplish something that needs to be accomplished. You find that even in difficult times, people are so good to each other. We like to do things. We like to lend a helping hand. And again, because there is an obvious light at the end of the tunnel. And then the coronavirus came. It asked a heretofore unanswered question, namely, what would happen if the world stood still? What would happen if the world was put on pause? Let me just say it again. What would happen if the world was put on pause? And this pause raises two very penetrating questions that all of the previous, seemingly unforgettable events did not have to answer. The two questions were, number one, what if there was nothing to do because you couldn't do anything? What if there was nothing to fix because, well, there was nothing to fix? And then that second question that is so very challenging, what if there is no light at the end of the tunnel? What if you did not know when it was going to end? These are very penetrating questions. What do you do when there's nothing you can do? And what do you do when you're unsure that the pause will not end? The obvious desire for many, and for many reasons, has been to return to a state of normalcy as soon as possible. People like normalcy. People like routine. They like to be busy about something, about anything. They just like to be busy. But they especially like getting ready to return back to a safe and secure environment, particularly when it comes to your family, your money, and security. The uncertainty, the anxiety of not knowing what to do is very, very frightening. And of course, when it is over, there'll be a lot of soul searching from your personal self in a sense that, how will I treat my family? How will I use my money? Locally in our communities, we'll take another look at who really helped us, who really served us. Nationally, in our government, we'll say, who will we elect? Who will we give power to? And on a world scale, we'll probably say it again, have we not learned the lesson? There is just one human community, and we are all sharing the planet. These are important lessons that we will learn from the coronavirus, individually and collectively. But there is a question that I most want to pose to you, namely, what will you learn personally? What will you learn personally concerning the coronavirus? What will be the new normal for you? Now, here's my point. Before I ask you to talk about that new normal, I would like to suggest that you do one thing. The one thing is to focus on how you feel right now. How you feel right now without an end in sight, unsure of what is going to happen. Don't let this feeling of what to do at this moment, in the midst of the uncertainty, be unused. Let it be clear to you what you would do right now at this moment, in the uncertainty. Because when families, societies, and governments will try to get you back into what is normal, you will forget the present situation, the present moment of uncertainty that is now teaching you. Don't allow the seeming security of returning to what is normal to dupe you and to fool you. Don't go into the old patterns of security that caused the insecurity in the first place. Do you not clearly see that we have within us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see what is really meaningful and to dismiss superfluous things that are relatively unimportant? It doesn't mean that they're bad, but they're relatively simply unimportant. Don't confuse a new normal with a return to the old normal. And please, please do not confuse a desire for a new normal to let you be satisfied with a return to the old normal. Be honest and sincere in this moment of uncertainty. So, let's now ask the question again. What will be the new normal for you going forward during this moment of seeming uncertainty? Now, while the new normal will be unique to each one of us, I have formulated 4 areas of concern that might be of assistance to you as they have for me. See if these things might be helpful. First, the easy one. What is it then that the coronavirus has shown you that you don't need? What is it that is really superfluous in your life? Not bad, not wrong, just superfluous. What is it that you need to put into the garage sale? What do you need to send to the rummage sale? What is it that no longer serves you? It could be from any food that is no longer good for you. It could be to a vacation you thought that you had to take. Jim Self said it very nicely in A Course in Mastering Alchemy when he said, you can't take your baggage with you. You can't take your baggage, the superfluous, unimportant things with you. Only you know what your baggage is. Let it go. And beware. Beware. Once you let it go, don't let others load you up again. Don't let others load you up again. Not everyone will let go of things as you are ready to. Be careful. Be careful. Don't pick up old stuff. Secondly, what is there that you have now seen during the coronavirus that you didn't quite see so clearly in the past? What is it that you now know that maybe you didn't know before? Perhaps it might be a recommitment to a family member, or maybe a recommitment to a daily exercise program for yourself. Perhaps it might be a desire to know yourself better, and then to invite others to know themselves better. What is it that you want to experience more of in your future? What has become more real to you now than it has been in the past? Thirdly, who are the people and the organizations that have reflected your values during this time? Let me say it again. Who are the people and the organizations that have reflected your values during this time? Who are the people that you've appreciated, perhaps from the mail person to the local supermarket attendant? Who are the organizations that have made you feel well served and that you want to support going forward? Saying thank you to others, cannot be heard too many times, particularly when such comments reflect your own goodness. Who has served you? Who has helped? Fourth and lastly, but most importantly, this extra downtime, this extra time in which there was nothing to do, has revealed two very important aspects about ourselves. The first one I would suggest, the downtime has revealed how comfortable or uncomfortable you are with just being, as opposed to doing. Many people thrive on being busy. They thrive on doing. But when it comes to downtime, when it comes to simply being, they don't know what to do with themselves. How have you done with having nothing to do? Have you become too bored too quickly? Or have you come to know yourself at a much more internal, elevated level? Perhaps you need to know that your being will now become a very important part of your future. I'll say it again. Your being will become more and more an important part of your future. And secondly, and I would suggest even more important, is the following. Your state of being, of stepping up to know who you are and what you have become during this time, most clearly approximates the state of being you will be in when you physically pass or decide to lay aside your body. May I repeat this? Your state of being, of stepping up to know who you are and what you have become at this time, most clearly appropriates the state of being you will be in when you physically pass or decide to lay down your body. What you decide in your present being is your future state of being. What you decide in your present state of being is your future state of being. Do you not see, therefore, what an opportunity the coronavirus has given us? An opportunity to straighten ourselves out, presently and for the future. In conclusion, the coronavirus is giving us that wonderful, wonderful time to pause. To pause. To clean out what you don't want. To add to what you do want. To support those people who have been very kind to you and reflect your values. And most importantly, to be more than you have ever been, now and in the future. Don't blow this opportunity. If you don't use it, you will lose it. For it only happens once in a lifetime. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let us begin our meditation as we are wont to do by setting a theme. Our theme, obviously, once in a lifetime. Let us begin, as we are wont to as well, by simply focusing on the breath, breathing in and breathing out, staying focused, not forced. If a thought comes in, just let it pass. Breathe in, breathe out. Focused. Please begin. And let me now suggest the following. Would you simply take your hand and place it over your heart-lung area? And I simply ask you to feel the breath. Feel the breath coming in. Feel the breath leaving. Notice how your lungs expand on the in-breath and empty as you exhale. Concentrate. Feel the breath. Please continue. You may put your hand back on your lap, and then I'll ask you to notice two things in just a moment. But for the time being, simply continue the breath attentively. Would you first of all notice how peaceful you are, how calm, tranquil, and yet alert and attentive. Notice this: alert, attentive, but calm, peaceful. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. And would you notice how good this feels? This is nice. This feels good. Notice this. And now, would you notice a second thing? Would you just say to yourself, well, here I am. This is me. Clear as a bell. Here I am. Notice this. Here I am. And would you notice or say to yourself, I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of me, of what I allow in and what I might want to let go of. I'm in charge of me. And here I am. Let us now proceed. What has the coronavirus taught you to let go of? What did you think was a necessity that was really superfluous? What did you give too much importance to that was rather trivial? What is it that you're ready to let go of? It doesn't matter. Let's proceed. What is it that the coronavirus has now made you more aware of? What is it that you need to know more about that really matters, that really makes you happy, that was too much on the back burner and now needs to be brought up front? What is it from this day on you need to make more a part of you? What do you need to know better? And thirdly, who are the people in the organizations who during these past several weeks and now presently have been here for you? Who has really been here for you? I'll say that again. Who has really been here for you? Who has reflected your values back to you? Who will you support, encourage in going forward? And lastly now, how are you? How are you? Did you think I was going to say, how are you doing? I want to know, how are you being you? When there is nothing to do, you are. Don't confuse being busy, doing, fixing, with being. You are the being that does and fixes. That you are primarily the being. I can't make you believe this. I can only point to the fact that what you are right now, what you are right now in your being, is who you have always been. Still are, and will always be. You are a forever being, an eternal soul, clearly knowing yourself. The coronavirus has not just put the world on pause, but it has put you on pause to know yourself. Your power, your beauty, your goodness, your joy. This is a once in a lifetime experience. Use it graciously. And now may this music take you to your place of being.
Deep within, peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. When you are where you need to be, within that space, I honor thee. Seeing through eyes an illusion, seeing through spirit, we are one. I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee.
Let me now ask you to gently breathe your eyes open. Just notice how good you feel. And as I look at you, and as you look at me, may you know your beauty, your power. I am an eternal being of light and love. Thus, only good can come to me. Only good can come from me. We are eternal beings of light and love. Thus, only good can come to us. And only good can come from us. This is who we are. Namaste. Namaste, dear mighty, mighty, wonderful, loving souls. Namaste.